Welcome to this video on how to complete the lighting worksheet for the ESC 1110 MERP activity. This worksheet gives you an opportunity to see the kinds of savings that you can realize by changing incandescent bulbs to compact fluorescent bulbs. When you open the worksheet, you'll see that there are two tabs, a lighting survey and lighting summary statistics. We're going to start on the Lighting Survey tab. Please make sure that you read the directions in this text box here at the top. This is going to be a hypothetical situation that will allow you to see the kinds of savings that can be realized by changing light bulbs. This sheet represents the standard lighting for a typical 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Now, I understand that this does not necessarily reflect your personal house or apartment, and it's not meant to. This is a theoretical experiment or theoretical thing that we're going to do, and you need to fill this out with that in mind. What I've done here, what we've done in this worksheet, is listed several different fixtures, light fixtures, that you would expect to find in a typical 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And so here they are listed in the column B, incandescent bulb location. I have also supplied a wattage for the bulbs that are in that particular fixture. Your first job is to estimate how many hours each light will be used per week by this family. Now we're going to think of this family as being 2 adults and 2 children, ages 10 and 14, young teenagers. Think about how long one of these lights would be on in a typical day, and then simply multiply that number by 7 to get the number of hours per week that one would reasonably expect that particular light to be on. Some lights may not be on very much, like for instance a garage light or a porch light on a motion sensor. On the other hand, a living room light or a kitchen light or a bathroom light might be on for many hours during the week. The next thing that you need to make sure that you do that is extremely important, and that is to fill in this blue cell right here. And in fact, when you first open the worksheet, it should already be highlighted. And this cell is titled Cost of Electricity per Kilowatt Hour. When you fill in that cell and fill in the hours per week, all of the columns that are in color, the orange columns and the green columns, will calculate automatically. Now it's important that you fill this cell in correctly. So for instance, if your cost of electricity per kilowatt hour is, say, 15 cents, which by the way it is not if you live in the southeastern United States, but if it is, people will be tempted to just think, oh, it's 15 cents and type 15 in there. But notice what happens when you do that. It doesn't come out 15 cents, it comes out $15. And so now when you start putting in values in some of these columns here, I'm just going to throw some things in here that would be not unreasonable values. Look at the money that that happens very quickly. And you know, obviously it doesn't cost $157.50 to run your living room lamps for 35 hours a week. You know, that's just 5 hours a day. That's basically the evening for 7 days a week. That's a reasonable amount of time, but surely it doesn't cost that much. The reason those numbers are so high is because this number in the blue cell up here is not correct. So make sure that when you enter the number there, that you enter it in dollars. So if the value is 15 cents per kilowatt hour, that's $0.15. Okay, that's 15 cents right there. And now these numbers look much, much more reasonable. One of the comments and questions that I get most frequently about filling out this worksheet is that people will fill in their hours here and they will find that nothing calculates. The reason for that is that the cost per kilowatt hour cell is not filled in. So that has to be filled in before any of these columns that are colored in either orange or green will calculate. So you need to fill in a value for all of these lights. Okay, it's just an estimate, but you can make a good best estimate. Okay. Then the next thing you're going to do is go to walmart.com, do a search on compact fluorescent bulbs, and in the search result page, switch to the grid view, and what that does is make it a little bit easier to do some comparisons. What you're going to do is find the compact fluorescent replacement for each of the incandescent bulbs that we find in this column over here. What we mean by CF replacement bulb is what is the wattage of the compact fluorescent bulb that will give the equivalent amount of light to the particular incandescent bulb. So for instance, a 40-watt incandescent bulb typically has about a 9-watt compact fluorescent replacement. And so you would put 9s here. A 100-watt bulb will typically have something on the order of a 23-watt replacement. Okay, and so you would put in 23-watt replacement there. A 75-watt bulb, somewhere around 14. And notice that when you put those wattages in here, that the numbers in the green columns update accordingly. Okay, I'm just making guesstimates here. Make sure that you check and see what the wattages are when you're looking it up on walmart.com. What this will automatically do is calculate the cost now for the compact fluorescent bulb, and it will also calculate the savings per month, per year, and then the savings over a period of a year over what you spent on the equivalent incandescent bulb. The next thing you're going to do is fill out the column under cost of bulb. So while you're still at walmart.com, you're going to see how much it costs to actually purchase the bulb to replace the incandescent bulb that you're looking at. Now, we're trying to save some money here. So oftentimes you save money by buying 3-packs. It's not at all unusual to be able to buy 3 compact fluorescent bulbs in a 3-pack for about $8 or $9. Okay, we'll just say $9. If that's the case, don't put $9 in this column. Okay, because $9 is the cost for the 3-pack. Instead, you want it on a per bulb basis. So per bulb, if it's a 3-pack, it's not going to be $9. It, of course, is going to be $3. So make sure that you are trying to find the best deal, and if it's buying it in a multi-pack, which often it will be, make sure you divide that cost for the multi-pack by the number of bulbs in that pack and get the per bulb cost and put that in this last column. One other important thing when you're filling out this table, when you're putting in the hours per week, do not put anything other than a numeral in here. For instance, if you put 5H for 5 hours, notice what happens. It gives you an error message. Or if you put 5 and then space and put HURS, it's going to give you an error message. That's because it's expecting there to be a number in that column, but when you put anything other than a number or a decimal point, it no longer treats it as a number. So it's already in hours. Don't put any kind of units on that. You just put the number. The same thing over here in replacement wattage. Don't put 9W for 9 watts, because if you do, it's no longer treated as a number and none of your values will calculate. So make sure in these columns labeled hours used per week and CF replacement wattage that you only put numbers. Once this table is filled out, and you should have something for every item in here, you can look at all of these numbers down here and you'll see what all of the savings are, or you can click on the lighting summary statistics. And what happens is this keeps up with all of the pertinent information, and you'll notice that this little table here looks exactly like the table in your PowerPoint that you need to fill out. So you're basically just going to be copying the numbers from this tab of the worksheet over onto your PowerPoint slide, and then you will be able to answer the questions. This is how you fill out the lighting summary worksheet that accompanies the MERP activity for Unit 2. Make sure that you take care of this. If you have any questions about it or run into any problems about it, please contact your instructor right away.